My mom leaned across the brunch table, smirking so loud it felt like a slap, and whispered, "Abigail, you're only here because we pity you." Everyone laughed, like I was some charity case they were forced to feed. My sister even raised her glass and said, "Blood may be thick, but pity? That runs deeper than anything." I sat there frozen, my hands shaking, because they had no idea what I was hiding. If you're still here, don't forget to share this story and subscribe. Your support helps more than you know. My mom's friends stared at me like I didn't belong, like I was an outsider who somehow crashed their perfect little family brunch. She kept going, enjoying every second of my embarrassment. "Abigail, sweetie, maybe don't order anything too expensive. We know your finances are a little tight." She said it loud enough for the entire restaurant to hear. A couple at the next table even looked over, confused, because my mom delivered the line like she was talking to a stranger, not her daughter. What they didn't know was that I'd spent the last 3 years quietly building something big, bigger than any of them could imagine. While they mocked me for working odd jobs and living in a tiny apartment, I was pouring every hour into a business they had no clue existed. But I stayed quiet. Let them laugh. Let them feel powerful. Today, I needed them to. My brother leaned back and smirked. "Honestly, Abigail, showing up here was brave. I mean, this place is kind of out of your budget, right?" My mom snorted into her mimosa. "She should be grateful we even include her." Another laugh, more eyes on me. Heat crawled up my neck, but I didn't move because the timing mattered. I kept my expression calm, almost bored, while inside me the fire burned hotter than their insults. The waitress came by with the check, placing it right in front of my mom. She pushed it toward me like some twisted joke. "Here, Abby, want to at least try paying for something today?" Every eye was on me. Every smile was mocking. Every second was building toward the moment they'd regret all of this. I picked up the bill slowly, and that's when my mom noticed the small black envelope sticking out of my bag, the envelope they thought I'd never have a reason to carry. Her face faded, her eyes narrowed, and she whispered, "What is that?" I didn't answer. I just placed the envelope on the table, and the moment her fingers touched it, her face drained of color.
My sister rolled her eyes. "Oh, please, Abigail, stop acting dramatic. You're not some movie character. Just tell us what it is, unless it's another life update like your yoga side gig." Her voice dripped with sarcasm, and her friends snickered like trained background characters. But then she snatched the papers from Mom. Her smile dropped so fast it looked painful. She blinked, once, twice, and then her voice cracked. "Mom, this is legal ownership paperwork." Everyone froze. Even the restaurant noise blurred into the background. My brother grabbed the papers next, scanning them with the same smirk he always wore when judging me. But the smirk vanished. He looked up, confused. "Wait, this is Abigail owns—" He stopped, his jaw tightening. My mom finally snapped out of it. "There's no way this is real. Abigail, don't play games. You can't possibly." I leaned forward just a little. "You sure?" Her throat bobbed as she swallowed. And then the twist they never expected hit. The business name on the paper, the business they'd laughed at for years, the business they thought had failed, was not just alive. It was worth 7 figures. My mom whispered, No, you couldn't have done this without us knowing." I said softly, "You never asked." My sister's voice rose with panic. "You own that company? The one we said would never work?" She covered her mouth like the words tasted bitter. The tension wrapped around the table tighter than the silence they'd thrown at me for years. My mom leaned in, voice shaking with anger. "Why didn't you tell us?" I smiled. "Because you made one thing very clear. My life wasn't worth paying attention to." And then the restaurant door opened behind me. A shadow stepped in. Someone they all recognized. My mom gasped. My sister's face drained. My brother froze with the paper still in his hands. The person walked toward our table, and my entire family stiffened like they'd just seen their worst nightmare. They had no idea this person was here for me. The entire table went stiff as the man walked toward us, calm, confident, and impossible for my family to ignore. My sister whispered like she couldn't breathe. "Why is he here?" My mom clutched her pearls like she was witnessing a disaster unfold in slow motion. It was Daniel Hayes, owner of the biggest real estate group in the city, a man my family had spent years worshiping like he was royalty. And he walked straight to me. No hesitation, no confusion, no greeting for anyone else. "Abigail," he said with a warm smile. "Sorry I'm late. I hope I didn't keep you waiting." My mom's fork slipped out of her hand. My brother stopped blinking. My sister looked like someone had unplugged her brain. Daniel Hayes, the man they'd spent half their lives trying to impress, pulled out a chair beside me and sat like he belonged there. My mom finally stammered, You know her?" He looked at her, calm. "Know her? Abigail is one of my biggest partners." The entire table shook. My sister nearly choked on her overpriced avocado toast. "Partners? Like, what do you mean, partners? She can't even pay her rent on time." Daniel chuckled softly. "He paid cash for her place last year. Didn't she tell you? Guess not." My mom stared at me like I committed a crime. "This has to be some kind of joke. Abigail wouldn't hide something this big." Daniel raised a brow. "I think she learned to build quietly, probably because people around her weren't very supportive." The shot hit them right in the chest. My brother leaned forward, panicking now. "Wait, how big of a partner? What does she even do for you?" Daniel smiled at me, proud. "She owns the digital branch, the one generating the highest revenue this quarter." Their faces fell apart in slow motion. My sister snapped, "Stop lying. Abigail can't even handle a family brunch without looking lost." I looked her dead in the eyes. Some people build silently while everyone else is busy laughing. The waitress came back with the receipts, dropping them on the table again, but Daniel waved them away. "I'll take care of everything," he said. "Anything Abigail is part of, I handle." My mom's voice shook. "Why? Why would you prioritize her?" He glanced at me with a proud smile. "Because she earned it, and because on Monday, we're announcing her as the new face of the company expansion." My family collectively gasped so hard, it turned heads across the restaurant. My sister looked furious. My brother looked sick. My mom looked like someone had told her the world was ending. Then Daniel leaned back and added, "Oh, and I'm only here today because Abigail invited me. She said her family would love to know the truth." My mom's face cracked. "What? What truth?" I turned to her calm, steady, and colder than I'd ever been. "That envelope wasn't even the full reveal," I said. "There's one more thing I haven't told you." My mom's breath hitched. My sister shook her head. My brother whispered, "What now?" I took a slow breath. Because what came next would change everything they thought they knew about me. And they were absolutely not ready for it. My mom's voice thinned into a whisper. "Abigail, what else could you possibly have to say?" Her hand hovered near her throat like she was bracing for impact. My sister leaned forward, desperate and angry at the same time.
Just spitting out already. You're dragging this like you're someone important. I didn't rush. I wanted them to feel every second of the shift in power they never thought I'd hold. Daniel placed a hand on the envelope between us. Maybe you should show them the second set, he said softly, like he'd been waiting for this exact moment. My family snapped their heads toward him, confused, terrified, suspicious. My brother barked, "Second set? What second set? She already showed us enough nonsense." Daniel smiled. Nonsense? Trust me, what's coming next is very real. My sister tried to laugh it off, but the sound cracked. Abigail, you don't have anything else. Like, don't embarrass yourself further. You're trying too hard. I quietly slid another envelope out of my bag. This one white, thicker, with a gold seal across the flap. My mom flinched, my brother swallowed hard, my sister grabbed the table edge like she needed support. She hissed, "What is that?" I placed it in the center of the table. "Open it." My mom reached first, hands shaking like she was defusing a bomb. When she peeled the seal and pulled out the documents, her breath left her body in a single broken gasp. She slapped her hand over her mouth. Her eyes filled. Then she whispered, "No, no, this can't be real." My sister snatched the papers. "Mom, stop being dramatic." Then her face went white. "What?" My brother grabbed them next, and he froze. His voice came out hoarse. "Abigail, this says you're the majority owner of—" He couldn't finish. His jaw locked. My mom finally pushed the words out. "This says you own Daniel's entire digital expansion division, 70%. She looked at Daniel in disbelief. This means she has controlling power." Daniel nodded calmly. "Correct." My sister shook her head violently. "No, no, you said she was a partner, not this." Daniel took a sip of water. "I said she was one of my biggest partners, meaning she outranks even some of my executives." My mom's voice cracked. But she's Abigail." Daniel shrugged lightly. "And yet she's been the backbone of the fastest growing branch of our company." Silence snapped across the table like a storm. My sister's lip trembled. But you told us you lost money, that you struggled, that—" I locked eyes with her. "I didn't tell you anything. You assumed, because it made you feel better." My brother's voice rose with panic. "So what, you're rich now? That's the big surprise?" I leaned in, voice steady. "No, that's not the surprise." He blinked. "Then what?" I slid one last page across the table. The page that showed my next move. The one that would hit them harder than everything else combined. My mom shakily picked it up. Her eyes scanned the heading, and she gasped so loudly the table next to us turned to stare. She looked at me shattered. "Abigail, why would you do this?" My sister grabbed it and nearly dropped it. My brother reeled back like he'd been punched. Because the truth in that final document was about to flip their entire world upside down. My sister's voice cracked first. "Abigail, this says you're moving the entire digital division headquarters out of state?" My mom snatched the page again, shaking. "Not just that, she's relocating it to our town's only major office building, the one we've been begging investors to save?" Daniel nodded. "She already bought the building last week." My brother went pale. "That building, that's Dad's old project, the one we lost. You own it now?" I kept my voice calm. "I bought it because no one else cared. And because I'm turning it into a training center, one that gives chances to people who grew up hearing they weren't good enough." My mom's mascara smudged as she whispered, "But what about us?" I stood up, collecting the envelope. "You never saw me as family, just someone to pity. So no, you're not part of this. Not anymore." Daniel stood with me. "Ready?" I nodded. Behind me, my family scrambled, calling my name, voices breaking in panic as the truth settled in. The daughter they mocked, the sister they pitied, the girl they tried to keep small, had just become the one person they could no longer afford to lose. I walked out of the restaurant without looking back, and for the first time in my life, they watched me leave them behind.